Hey, this is Politics with Laura. I had some problems earlier. Everything froze up. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I hope the second time is better. Politics with Laura. How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing again? There's this old saying. It was true then, and it's true today. Oh, what a worried web we weave when we practice to deceive. Oh, the deception is just woo, woo, sprinkling all over the world today. But however, I would like to stick with two people. Two people that met their match. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Fani Willis and Donald Trump. I have to say, they're slugging it out. I mean, they're going at it. They're going. I mean, if I had to bet on WWE, Raw is War, Royal Rumble, King of the Mountain, whatever you want to call it, I would say it would be a tough call because both are very slippery. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Where do we begin? Okay. Let's go back to how this all first started. And the BBC, I had to get this from outside of the country. I had to go across the pond to where they don't have an axe to grind. Across the pond, they deal with the Tories, and I don't know what the other group is called, so I have to find that out. So I thought it was quite interesting. They started out with Stormy Daniels. Now I gotta say, before I even get there, I'm sorry. Okay, Stormy Daniels, so she was in there dancing, right? She's getting her groove on. And sometimes, this I'm going to deviate for a second, but it's still dealing with this. Okay, guys, let me talk to you for a second. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. Check this out. Look, men, sometimes you all do the dumbest stuff. I'm going to say it again. I don't think you heard me. Sometimes, men, you all use, Eunice, you plural, okay, do the dumbest stuff. You go out, you're mad at your wife, your girl, whatever it may be, okay, whatever it is. You get a little bit too much to drink. You close your eyes. No, you drinking and dancing and you swear up and down. You're like, oh yeah, she is hot. I'm mad at my girl. Yeah, she's never going to know. I'm going to get a little revenge. Yeah, right? I'm going to get a little revenge. And you wake up and you look and you see this. You want to run. You want to run, right? Look, and then you have her coming later. Well, I need you gotta give me about $100,000 so I can keep my mouth shut because you know what you did. Yeah, you know what you did. Yeah. Donald's like, oh crap. Look, it was it. That was it. Whatever happened, happened. That was it. No, Donald, you're going to become president and your wife is going to know. Now, I got to say, Melania is beautiful. Now, you can have a beautiful wife and still do the dumbest stuff. I'm not going to stick on this very long. I just want to just pounce on you guys for a second. That's it. Now, you're like, oh, God. Oh, my goodness. I know Donald's like, look, Melania. Oh, goodness, please. Oh, Lord. I mean, look, I had too much to drink. I was across the country, and I woke up. I had no idea what happened. It, look, there has not been a wife or a girlfriend, woman, whatever it is, that has dealt with guys doing dumb stuff to come back to embarrass her. Look, if you're going to do something like that, okay, if you're going to do something like that, let me give you a piece of advice. I'm not saying for you to do it, but if you're going to do it, cheat up. Don't. Oh my God. Look. Just don't. Just don't. We all have been through it. We all have been through it. But that's not where I want to stay. I just want to soak you all a little bit. However, back to what I was saying. Oh, Lord. Well, the BBC, said some quite interesting things. So let's go ahead and go to the, what do you call it? To the article, okay? And then later on, I'm going to drop the link if you want to come up and talk. But keep in mind, Fani Willis, she's in big trouble. Trump is in big trouble. Jim Jordan, look, Jim Jordan is not the congressman you want to upset. Oh, no. No. I've seen him in action. And Fani Willis, I don't think she has seen him in action. But I digress. All righty, where is it? Okay, this came from the BBC, right? BBC. And this is a couple of days old, about a week old. Now, it's quite interesting to how they lay this out. A guy to Donald Trump's 4 criminal cases, I'm sorry. Now here, I'm going to jump around a little bit because it's kind of long, and I don't want to, Okay, here, the 77-year-old who is the first former president in U.S. history to be criminally charged with now faces 91 charges across 4 separate cases. Now, before I have to say this. I have to say this. And I know I'm going to get some backlash in the chat, or some of you may come up and say, let me tell you some politics with Laura. All right. For me, I'm all about fairness. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Now, Trump has 91 charges dealing with what's her name, Stormy Daniels. That was a personal thing between him, his wife, and that woman. Okay. But Joe Biden, he walks away scot-free. And they classify him as a well-meaning older gentleman that doesn't quite remember. Well, Donald Trump is a well-meaning older gentleman, and he doesn't get the same shake. My thing is this: if you do for one, you do for the other. That's all that I'm saying. Just fairness. Okay, I'll leave it right there. Okay. Woo, everybody dropped out when I said that. They're like, oh no. Okay, and this legal trouble did not end there, as Mr. Trump is now facing several civil cases relating to, among other things, the business empire that made his name, and there are crucial legal appeals that are not yet to be settled too, including one other immunity for prosecution. But okay, let me scroll down a little bit. Oh, come on, don't act up. Please don't act up. Here. Now, It all started out with Stormy Daniels and about payments of $130,000 to stay quiet after having Mex. Put an S in front of it, the algorithm, okay? And Trump denied it. Of course he's going to deny it. Look. Of course he's going to deny it. He's not going to say, yeah, Melania, yes. Yeah, Melania, I did it. Yep. I did it, Melania. Yes, I did. Yeah. No. you're gonna lie to keep the marriage together, to keep from having problems. Because he had problems. And I'm gonna leave it right there. Let me see. What's worth noting what's worth noting though, that the providing the so-called hush money is not actually illegal. Instead, this case is more technical and centered around how Mr. Trump's former lawyer, who paid Miss Daniels and had reimbursement records. And look, it goes back to the same thing. It goes back to the very same thing. And that was when he's calling around saying, yo, find me some votes. Now, you can ask for it, right? He didn't get it. But now Stormy Daniels, even though what he did was simply between two consenting people, contract, whatever you want to call it, man, everybody left. But that's how his case started. Stormy Daniels, they had to find something. Donald Trump cannot become president. No. Okay, so every president, every candidate who has ever run has the opposite side saying, you can't be president. I'm better than you, and this is why. I'm better than you, and this is why. It always happens. So once we understand that the other side is going to sling mud, instead of sticking with the issues, they sling mud back and forth to dirty up the others. I gotta say, it has gotten worse over the years. Pretty soon, we're going to be like other countries who have fistfights. Heck, in Peru, what was it? Peru or Colombia? Oh my goodness. The one candidate had the other president thrown in jail for 4 years. The president in Colombia, the ex-president, got out, ran, and beat the guy. I mean, you just, you can't make stuff like that up. But that's happening here. So let's go back to the article. All right. Now, the former president is accused of falsifying his business records. Saying the payments were for legal fees. He facing 34 counts on that. There are other things, a sundry of things, and the BBC lays it out quite well. When is a trial? Here. Now it's scheduled. Now keep in mind, Fani Willis, her charges. Fani Willis, the case is still going on. Now, what ended was her portion of them trying to disqualify her. She's still there. It doesn't stop the trial. So the trial is going to start the 25th of March. Oh my goodness. In a couple of days. Wow. Very soon. So that is happening. Oh man. And now they say, well, what could be the punishment? Each of the charges carries a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison, although the judge could sentence Trump to probation if he is convicted. Let me see. The last president that went to jail is in France. What's his name? I can't remember his name at this very second. It's going to pop up when I get off the live stream. The legal experts told the BBC they think it is likely Trump will be jailed if convicted. In this case, that is fine is more likely the likely outcome. Let me see where else. Now here, the Manhattan DA brags the Democratic using a rare use strategy to bring felony charges rather than the less serious misdemeanor. So you have that right there. Also, whether Mr. Trump illegally conspired to overturn the 2020 election to defeat Joe Biden. Now, I'm not going to get into all of that. We're just going to stick to this right here. The federal prosecution allege he pressured officials to reverse the results, knowingly to spread lies about the election fraud sought to exploit the Capitol. I can't even say because I'm going to get all kinds of blue marks around my video. You see it right there where we're under complete man, I can't even say what I want to say. The censorship. 2021 to delay the certification of Biden's victory and to stay in power. Now, that happened. Okay? Oh, circumstance kind of conspiracy. He also denied the wrongdoing and any misunderstand unsubstantiated accusations. Okay, let's get to where we're at now. Doggone it. It's just given the different types of sentences he can get. But I'm trying to find where it talks about Fani. Okay, here. What could be the punishment? The racketeering charges or charge carries a maximum of 20 years in jail. Georgia prosecutor will need to prove that there was a pattern of corruption from Mr. Trump and his co-defendants aimed to overturn the election results in order to begin a conviction. For making false statements that carries a penalty between 1 to 5 years in prison or a fine. And what they're doing, Judge Enron, what was it? 360 million. It's outrageous. So whether Mr. Trump mishandled classified documents and taken them from the White House and to his Mar-a-Lago. Now, look, some may not agree. Some may not agree. Okay, we have something called the National Archives Record Act. And that right there is when the president, not senator, not vice president, not the dog walker, and not the person with the stop sign walking people across the street. No, the president has access to the records. Now, President Obama, yes, I got to use this as an example for everyone to get a clear understanding. And then if you have a clear understanding, but you choose to simply dismiss it, okay, that's on you. Identity politics is dangerous in my opinion. But for me, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Just that simple. President Obama, President Clinton, President Bush, President Reagan, President Bush II, the son, all had documents. They all did. And in fact, the National Archives sued, what was it, President Clinton, and they said, well, they're his. They're his. Let him have it, leave him alone. Now, the National Archives, it simply archives everything what the president has done. Now, they already have records of all that. But now they're saying, no, President Trump, he has this, he has that, and he can't have that. That has to be part of it, of the collection of the National Archives. I don't know how many of you have been to the National Archives. I have been a couple of times. Huge, huge, huge museum building, government building, whatever. But what President Trump did was no different than any other Democratic or Republican president. Now, if you hate Trump that much, fine. You can hate Trump that much. And some of you say, I hate Trump that much. Okay, I add a little extra flowery stuff there. Not that much, but fine, you can hate him. But keep in mind, President Biden was not president at the time. He was senator and vice president. And many people are overlooking that because they simply like him better. And I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to get off my soapbox and, okay, I'm just leaving it right there. All right. So, let me see what else. It's almost over. So here, it's also about whether he obstructed the FBI efforts to retrieve the files and as well as the criminal investigation into his handling them. The majority of the counts are for the willful retention of the national defense information, which falls under the Espionage Act. Oh man, how can I say this? I don't know how many of you kept up with what has been going on overseas in the ukulele country and Russian waters. I have done videos on that, and I have one spelling out how things occurred, who was in play. I keep on talking about Victoria Nuland and how she was the one, and another guy, I can't remember his name, that overthrew the ukulele government. Poroshenko, they got rid of him to install who we have now. That is Zelensky. He was placed in and installed there. So he's doing the will of our government, keeping that going. Go through some of my other videos. It shows you in the newspapers. Nothing that I'm making up. Nothing. All of it is in newspapers to where you can see for yourself. Okay? Make your own mind up. All right? I go back to what I was saying. I do apologize. Okay. Okay, there are then 8 individual counts, which includes a conspiracy, obstruction of justice, withholding a document or records, making false statements, and plead not guilty to all counts. All right. But, all right, I'm going to leave that right there. Okay. Now, what I want to also talk about, where is it? Okay, now I want to get into Jim Jordan and Fani, because she right now is at the center of all this. Now, I stated earlier, Trump met his match with Fani Willis. Trump met his match because as he gives a left, she comes with a right. When she comes with a left, he comes with a right. They are really duking it out. I'm like, wow, okay. She was able to get through this because what Trump did, and 18 other lawyers, what they did was priceless. Ashley Merchant. Oh, I don't have her picture up. What she was able to uncover because of, let's say, oh my goodness, Nathan decided to seal his divorce record. I mean, if a Nathan okay, I'm sorry, If Nathan did not do that, if Nathan did not do that, it would never had made Ashley Merchant to take a look. Ashley Merchant was like, I thought it was strange. So I'm like, why would you do that in a divorce proceedings? You're not a major star. I mean, you're none of those things. You're just a guy that drives his car to work. You're a regular guy. But then you want to seal that. Why? What did that have to? And then she found out. She fought and got his records opened up, and then boom, there goes Fani. There goes a lot of information. Okay, she's doing this wild stuff. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but you are committing crimes. So this information comes out. Now, any good lawyer worth his or her salt, I was going to say in gold, but you don't get gold and salt, but I digress, is going to do anything to defend you. And that means if you got to lift up a rock and you find some little maggots and salamanders, I found it. This is you right here. And that's what Ashley Merchant did. Not only Ashley Merchant, but also Trump's lawyer, Steve Sado. Oh, he got those credit cards. Now, Nathan's wife went back to 2002 to 2023. I mean, I don't want to be Nathan. Don't want to be Nathan. But Fani decides, okay, I'm going to act a fool here. This right here is my regular attitude and behavior. Now, she tried that mess with Jim Jordan. If you don't know who Jim Jordan is, this is him. I would rather wrestle with a rattlesnake before I would deal with Jim Jordan. Oh my goodness. Oh no, look, he's one of those people you just don't play with. And Fani played with the right one. Let's get into it. Fani she's gonna. I have a funny feeling because Jim Jordan said, "Hey, look, that is my money, not my money, but we sent that grant to you, and you were supposed to do X, Y, and Z because that's what it's for. It's earmarked for children, youth that are at risk, blase, blase." But then you're buying skis and jackets. No, I'm just simply putting that in there. I don't know what they bought with it, but it didn't go the way it was supposed to go. But let's get into it. She messed with the wrong one. She messed with Jim Jordan, and that was not a smart thing to do. That's not what I meant to do. She messed with the bull and got the horns. All right. Oh, man, I hate all these little pop-ups. I am so sorry. Okay, I'm trying to get the title. Jim Jordan threatens with contempt of Congress if she, meaning Fani, does not comply with the subpoena. Fani got totally beside herself. She told Jim, I couldn't believe she said this. I could not believe that Fani Willis told Jim Jordan, well, if you want those records, then you can go to the DOJ and get them. What? And this is why Fani is going, I mean, not Fani, but Jim Jordan is going so hard on Fani, the straight out disrespect, like taking the papers, throwing them, oh, you're a liar, she does all that silly stuff down there. Like I said, DC may not be the deep South, but it's the South. And one thing what you'll do is bring respect with you. And Fani, you may be in the deep South, but you come correct. You don't act like a fool. And that's exactly what she did. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to this. All right. Now, the Judiciary Chairman, Jim Jordan, has threatened Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis with contempt of Congress if she does not comply with the congressional subpoena as a part of the committee investigation into her office's use of federal funds. You don't play with the government's money. The House Judiciary Committee in February issued a subpoena to Willis for documents relating to her office's use of federal funds intended to subpoena at-risk student youth, according to the copy of the subpoena obtained by ABC News. While you have indicated that additional documents may be forthcoming in response to the committee subpoena, the committee has yet received any additional responsive materials in the 3 weeks since your initial response. Jim, Republican of Ohio, you don't mess with those Ohioan people, wrote in the letter obtained by ABC News, according to the committee expects that you will produce all responsive documents to the subpoena in the categories prioritized by the committee no longer than 12 p.m. March 28th, which is in what? 7 days. If you fail to do so, the committee will consider taking further action. And when they say will, they will consider, not will, they are going to, okay? Further actions such as the invocation of contempt of Congress proceedings. You don't want to mess with them. You truly don't. But now he said something interesting. He said that you didn't comply. You totally didn't comply with the responsive materials. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me see. Saint said she's on the White House visitor log. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yes, she is. And also Fani has to get help from, I said that in my other video, and she reached out to the person that hates Trump the most. If you combined all the people in the world that may hate Trump, the number one person that hates Trump is Liz Cheney. The level of hate that she has for him. Now, Fani reached out to Liz Cheney requesting information, and that's how she got those RICO charges, because Liz Cheney gave her the information, the paperwork, in a cute little box with a pink bow, and Liz was like, I'm not going to mail it to you. No, I'm not going to mail it to you, Fani. No, I'm going to deliver it to you. We're going to have a little coffee and maybe a cookie or two to discuss it. Okay? And that letter is in the committee records report. I can't even say. I'll get a blue thing underneath my video so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And thank you. So Fani did not give all of the records in those categories. She may have given maybe 1-2 pieces of paper that was somewhat there, but it wasn't going to truly incriminate her. Like, I can't, Cuffin, Miss Cuffin recorded herself talking to Fani, saying that Nathan was not using the money the way he was supposed to. And that went out, and guess what? Jim Jordan heard it. Oh, Fani, Where's that money? We're hearing that One of your employees bought some swag with it, some bling bling. I see Fawny not complying. I see her going down in flames. I mean, I simply see it. I mean, if she ignored a subpoena, now she has given subpoenas. So if she sits there and act like, well, I don't know what a subpoena is. I don't know. I don't know. What is a subpoena? I see her doing that. I see her dragging it and doing all those wild things, but she's in a lot of trouble. Now, they will. Now, she got 7 days to give them all of those categories. And let me see, did it list the categories? I think it lists the categories. Um, let's take a look. It should be in there. Let's see if we can find the categories. Can you see that? Oh, great. Good. You can. Okay, did not comply with the congressional subpoena. Let me see. What are the... Okay, no. Okay, wait a minute. Let me do it like this because that's not showing up. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let me bring up the other one. Hopefully, I thought that it would be able to simply move over, but it didn't. Okay, let's see if the subpoena gives, or this article gives the different categories. Okay, at-risk students. Oh, please go away. Okay, unrelated scrutiny, relationship with the prosecutor. Okay, we already know that. We don't even want to talk about that anymore. According to the report, okay, the 400. Okay, now we know that's $488,000, the federal grant, and that was to empower the empowerment and gang prevention to cover frivolous and unrelated expenses. Okay. In the statement of responding to the subpoena, Willis defended her use of the federal funds against the allegations of wrongdoing. How do you defend that? Our federal grant programs are focused on helping the at-risk youth in seeking justice for sexual assault victims who were too long ignored. I mean, which is a good thing, but did you really use it? He used it on bling bling. Our federal grants for sexual assault kit initiative has been cited, but you got money allotted for that, Fanny. Come on now. The United States Attorney General as the model program. Okay. So those were the couple of categories, but I don't know if there are any more. Okay. There are no more categories on that. But it's very... There's a lot there. So going from Stormy Daniels to Fani Willis, it's a complete mess. And okay, I'm just going to speak freely for a second. And some of you don't like when I speak freely because I'm an independent and I'm not going to be nailed down to any ideology. No. I go according to the Constitution. It's safer that way. Once you start dribbling out into gray areas, and even though from time to time you may need to go into a gray area, but to stay politically in the gray area is dangerous. All right. So I think being a total Trumpster or a total Bidenite, it's not a good thing, because you're looking at the people and you're not looking at what the party stands for. So when you are so focused simply on Biden and you are so to the point to where there is evidence and information that's coming that chips away against the narrative that you have built around yourself, you're going to ignore it. No, Biden didn't do that. You are a liar to the third power times infinity, around the moon 3 times, right? And you're not looking at his dealings with the ukulele country. You're not looking at how he had a prosecutor, a Russian waters prosecutor in the Ukraine fired because his son was in Burisma. You're not even looking at the check that he cashed. You're ignoring all of that. That means nothing. That is lying information. Then you're like, but Trump, okay. Trump, he's fighting. How can I say this? I'm not trying to sound biased. I'm not. Trump is going through trials and tribulations. Okay, let me try again. Trump is going through court for election fraud, subversion, other things. He's going through court right now. Biden has not. Biden and not his son, but Biden has not gone through court. The Attorney General of the United States said that he is a well-meaning elderly man, but Trump is what, 3 years younger than him, and they're over there giving Trump the blues. And yet, identity politics. So then whenever someone who supports Trump says, well, look, that's Biden. Well, Stormy Daniels. Then when you talk about some of the things that Biden has done to where we can see, I mean, it's some frightening things. Very frightening. And reports coming out about, Biden possibly, allegedly reported that he was a little rough with the female Secret Service. Then there was a report coming out that former President Trump was inappropriate with a former, not with a former, but a Secret Service agent. I mean, it's going back and forth. But my thing is this: if you're going to allege it, put it on paper, put it through court. That's it. That's simple. They're not doing that. And again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Fani, as Senna said, her name is on the White House visitor log, but she did not visit Joe Biden. Now, she didn't lie about that. She said, when I went to D.C., and when she comes up here, hopefully I can find out when she goes so I can live stream her going into Congress. When she said, I didn't see Joe Biden when I went to D.C., that's true. She didn't see Biden. No one ever said, did you see Kamala Harris? And she did. When she came up here on those 2 occasions, she saw Kamala Harris. And after that second visit, next thing you know, these indictments. I'm a Trump supporter. Oh, and just see the double standards with Biden. Biden also had top documents in his. Yes. Yes, that is true. And that's exactly what I was saying. Biden had it when he was senator and vice president. He had those documents, but it seems like that is okay. No, it is not okay. Trump had documents that other presidents had and still have. However, they're not who I said it earlier, President, it was either President Clinton or President Obama. They brought charges up and they said, well, hey, it's his. He wrote it. And they never said anything about the National Archives report Records Act. That was done in 1980 because between Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter. That's right there's just a little bit of history. Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, when they were passing on, switching power, Ronald Reagan put that act in. Now you have to look at what exactly do they want as far as the National Archives. What do they want to archive? Whatever he writes, and I said this before, whatever he writes, whatever he produces is his. Now, we're not talking about nothing from the Phoebe people, you know what I mean. We're not talking about anything about the Sia people, you know what I mean, or the I get a lot of problems with YT. So they make broad statements as far as what they would like for you to give over. Keep in mind, that is his work. So if he sits down and writes these memos, if he does this, if he does that, it's his work. Okay? So if he sends a memo to Putin, that is his. If he sends a memo to the president of Argentina, that's his. Now, I get what some of you are going to say. Well, you know politics with Laura. No, the National Archives, la, 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 la. It says la, 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 la. Okay. It says la, 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 la. But let's keep in mind, all the other presidents have la, 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 la. And President Joe Biden, he has la, 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 la before he even became president. I'm just saying, let's make it equal. When you get into identity politics, you get people like Fani. Okay? Oh, I'm going to drop the, does anyone want to come up if you would like? And if you don't want to come up, I can set up my phone and you could call in. Do you want to come up or do you want to call in if you choose to? Which one? I'm going to go old school. Does anyone? I dropped a link or if not, I'm over here saying you could call in. I didn't even give you the number. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Right there. You could call 202-981. Doggone it. 981. What is it? 955. I'm sorry. 9775. If you'd like to call in. If you choose to. But there is most definitely, in this case right here, there is such double standards. And I got to say this, you have to be careful about this double standards, because the double standards may go in your favor today, but it will be against you tomorrow. It always happens like that. Always. When it's working for you, yay! But when it's not, you're like this. Goodness. Let me see. Can I get her? Next thing you know, you got the big old cry face, the Amber Heard cry face. You're crying. And then you spend all your time screaming, "It's Johnny's fault. It is all Johnny's fault. It's Johnny's fault. It is all Johnny's fault." Yeah, it's all Johnny's fault. But that's how it goes. Okay. So Fani Willis, in 7 days, let's see what happens, because Jim Jordan says in 7 days, if you don't respond to the categories of information that I want, because we need to investigate this. This is federal grant money. We gave it to you for specific use. If I see sneakers that was mailed to any of your staff members, if I see gold chains or whatever it is, that's not for the at-risk use in the other monies or the other categories that it was supposed to be used for. It's going down hard, and I gotta say, Fani, she's a fighter. Her and Trump are just slugging at each other, and I thought for sure that Fani was going to be disqualified. I just was like, oh man. Even though that when they went after Fani, they went after Fani about her her behavior and the things that she was doing that was outside of her job. Now, I was thinking that they were going to bring some motions about how she put in wrong information. I mean, she's padding, this and that. I thought, but no, it was about her going on vacation. And some people were saying, well, look, Nathan earned that money, and when he cashed that check, right, that check that he worked for, or whatever you want to call it, he can spend it any way he wants to, because that right there's his money. The state can't say, hey, you can't take anybody on vacation. If you're dating somebody, you should be able to take them on vacation. You got people saying that. Other people are saying, well, wait a minute. Wait, that's taxpayers' money. And taxpayers' money, you're taking Fani on a vacation, and she never wrote that down on the ledger. She didn't put that down that she went to Belize and all these other places that he took her. She never wrote that down. Just like Clarence Thomas never wrote down that one of the big donors, the billionaire donors, gave money to him, not to him, but to send his grandson to private school. He hits that. Okay. No. That didn't happen. Fani. Oh, Nathan Wade, he took me to California on a plane that was worth more than $100. She did none of those things. So, and Florida has this thing called Form 6. You know how many people resigned? People resigned left and right. You have mayors. Well, the governor, DeSantis, is still in there. School board people, everyone. You have crossing guards resigning. Oh, man, the kids, they were giving me stuff. They gave me sodas. I got to resign. I mean, it's going to be something. So, in 7 days, I got to go down to the Congress and see if I see. Well, I got to see exactly which way they will go in, and when they call her up here for her to sit and testify, so Jim Jordan can grill her. I wonder if people can go in. I would love to be a fly on the wall in there with my cell phone to record it. I'm just saying that would be nice. But, and just keep in mind, all of this started with this simple, not simple thing. If he could take this back, if he could take her back, Stormy Daniels, if you could say, I wish I never met Stormy Daniels. I wish I stayed near the house, even though Melania and I were arguing. I mean, I wish I could just take that back. I could have kept my money, and now she's shaking me down every chance she gets, and that's what happens. Donald, remember me? Yeah, I'm gonna shake you. I'm gonna tell everybody if you don't pay me. Unfortunate but true. But on that note, where's it at? But on that note, I want to thank you. One thing is you could never get back is time. You could never get that back. But I want to thank you for stopping by.